Hello, friends and family. This is the Chronicles of Austria, Chapter 2. I know it's been a while since I last updated, but classes just started and it's been a little crazy. But I'm here to tell you about everything that I've done since our last video. Right, so, let's see. Well, class started, had my first day of classes. It went pretty well. I have Christian marriage, and it's funny because we're all talking about, there's a lot of pressure to get an A in that class, it's like, you don't want to say, oh, I got a C in Christian marriage, So that's kind of funny, but I'm taking Christian marriage, world epics, which is cool because we're going to read, like, Gilgamesh, the Iliad, the Odyssey, just a lot of epics like that. And I'm taking philosophy of the human person, which at the moment I really don't like. That's just because my brain was not designed or structured to think philosophically, but hopefully I'll get through it. I've heard really good things about the class, but no offense, professor. Well, she used to be Cypher, but now she's Walter because she got married. Passionate, energetic, funny, I'm sure very nice, but scary as heck when you're in class with her. She's just no funny business. It's scary, but I'm sure it'll be great. Okay, so epics, philosophy, marriage, Christian spirituality, which is turning out to be really interesting and really fruitful. And then, last but not least, intro to scripture. So all those classes are going great. That's really all I have to say about that. This weekend we went to Vienna. It was our first kind of excursion all together. We did go to Melk, last weekend, which was, that was like a excursion, I suppose, but this was just more like, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, went to Vienna. It was beautiful, one of the most beautiful cities I've ever seen, anyways. I was really impressed. We started off having mass at this church. I forget what it's called, but it's like the home base, if you will, of the Capuchin friars. So that was cool. It was a really beautiful church. Then we took like a walking tour of Vienna, and if you've browsed through my pictures at all, that's pretty much what it looks like. So I don't have too much to say there. Lots of history, lots of just cool things, like the church where Marie Antoinette got married, and just stuff like that. And St. Stephen's Cathedral, where the body of St. Valentine is, and the skulls of Cosmos and Damien. It's just really cool. It's really, the country of Austria is just really Catholic. So that, and you can definitely see that there's a stronger kind of relationship between church and state. It's pretty foreign to Americans. So that was really cool. Then we had lunch, and when the university buys lunch, they buy lunch and they buy the first round of drinks. You can get whatever drink you want. However, the meal, they usually just pick one thing. For instance, if we were students studying abroad in America, they would probably just pick, everyone's going to have cheeseburger and fries, okay? So we were at this restaurant, and they said, okay, everyone's getting like schnitzel and this potato salad. I'm not really sure what schnitzel is, if it's like chicken or pork or whatever. All I know is that it's deep fried. So, of course, I can't eat it because that means it was rolled in flour. So everyone has the same meal unless you have a food allergy. And when you have a food allergy, I've explained this before, they give you a little card with your name on it, and it explains what your allergy is in German, because that's the language they speak here. So they came out with soup, so I handed my card to the waiter, and he was like, oh, okay. So I didn't get any soup. And then they brought out everybody's schnitzel, and I thought, oh my gosh, they're just not going to feed me. So I thought, I brought a Cliff Bar with me, so I'm like, well, maybe I'll just eat that and I'll get something later when we have free time. But no, they brought out some grilled chicken and some steamed vegetables, and I kid you not, that was the best grilled chicken I've ever had. I don't know, like, what they put on it. It wasn't like in a sauce or anything, like it had seasoning, but I can't explain it to you. It was just really, really good. I was so happy. So then for dessert, they bring out, everyone has this kind of like flaky pastry that has some kind of like almond, cream on the inside or whatever. And so I thought, all right, well, this will be interesting. At the last restaurant, I had kind of like a sweeter fruit salad type of thing. So I thought, well, I wonder what they'll bring me. Probably something similar to that. So this lady comes up to me and she goes, I can't do a really good German accent, but basically she's struggling to say, for dessert, orange. And I'm going, oh my gosh, she's going to bring me an orange. But everyone's like, no, I'm sure it'll be like a fruit salad maybe type thing like you had last time, or, just, she's not going to bring you an orange. Sure enough, she comes back with an orange, like, in a napkin, like, with a knife in it. She's like, here you go. And I was like, danke. And so I had an orange, but that's okay. God's keeping me healthy while I'm here. So that was just kind of funny. And something else funny, like I said, they pay for the first round of drinks. So everyone, like, got beer, and then Kelsey and one of the... Okay. Back up. There's this guy. His name is Maros. He takes care of the university, okay? If a light bulb goes out, you tell Maros, okay? Anything like that. So he, of course, lives in Austria. He's native Austrian. His whole family lives in Austria. So they all tagged along with us to this trip to Vienna. So his son, who they nicknamed Gusti, his name is Augustin, so Gusti for short, was sitting with us. And we're like, Gusti, can you please tell the waitress that, we're missing 3 glasses of wine? And so he keeps trying to tell her, like, my friend Brian tried to tell her in English, then Gusti tried to tell her in German, and she was just not having it. She kept giving us the hand, kept shushing us, and we're like, oh my gosh. And I was feeling bad because she's overwhelmed. There's all these students here, But then finally Gusti stops her, and he's like, really like, no, seriously, they didn't get their wine. And he's like counting, like, we're missing 3 wine, and she is just not understanding. And then Gusti turns to us and goes, oh, she's Polish. And we're like, how do you know that? And he's like, she's counting, in Polish. And I felt just so terrible. We were yelling at her in English and in German, and she didn't even speak either of them. So that was embarrassing. And I felt bad for her. I tried to be apologetic, but of course we couldn't understand each other, so that was difficult. But afterwards, we had free time. We went into H&M. It's exactly like the American H&M. St. Stephen's Cathedral, which I already explained. And, then we had famous Vienna coffee. Also, while we were in Vienna, besides getting chocolate and everything, we went to a marketplace. And it was basically like a swap meet. And when you see someone, you say Grüß Gott, which means greet God. Like I said, in the church and state, everyone, even, they're probably, I think Catholicism is more of a cultural thing. Who knows if everyone who says Grüß Gott really goes to Mass, but at the same time, they still acknowledge God, which is cool. So we're walking through this marketplace, and we don't speak German, and a lot of them don't speak English, but, they try to grab you and try to get you to buy their item. So it was a culture shock. I mean, we were walking through, and, you would make eye contact, so you'd be friendly, and you'd want to say, Grüß Gott, and then all of a sudden they start talking to you in German. So a lot of times, just to be nice, I'd say, sprechen Sie English, and a lot of times they'd say yeah, and, I would kind of ask them about what they were selling, just to, not because I was really interested, but just to be polite. And, sometimes they'd say no, so that's okay too. And so Mary and I, our group was kind of behind us, and we walked ahead a little bit, and we saw this guy, and he was talking to us, and so, I said, Grüß Gott, sprechen Sie English, just to be polite, and then he said, yes, I speak English, and so then Mary and I were kind of laughing. We were kind of embarrassed, because we didn't hear anything he had just said in German, and then he was just like, sexy ladies, and Mary and I are like, oh my gosh, like, does he even really know what that means, you know? And so we kind of wanted to walk away, but our group was behind us, so we didn't want to get too far ahead. So then, you know, we're just kind of talking amongst ourselves, being like, what do we do? And this guy keeps talking to us, and he says, you know, where are you from? So I didn't want to say America, so I said California. And he goes, oh, California, you and I are not so different. And I said, oh, really? How do you figure? And he says, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He goes, I am from Austria. You are ruled by someone from Austria. And we were like, okay, this guy's nuts. But he gave us a couple of slices of apricot, which were pretty good, and then we were like, oh, we gotta go, because we saw, like, Kelsey and Craig and the rest of our group catching up to us, so, that was good. And we wound up not buying anything. There was this guy who didn't speak English, and he saw us looking at scarves, and we were done, you know, we didn't want to buy a scarf, but he grabbed my arm and was like, you know, come here, and he was trying to haggle with me, and I don't speak German, but he said something along the lines of, I'll give you 2 scarves for €9. I could tell by his hand gestures, and I know what €9 means. But I was like, no, danke, no. And Nathan, who has been studying he has a phrase book, English to German. So he came in, swooped in to save the day, and got me away from the guy. So that was good. So all in all, those are my Vienna adventures. I was able to get coffee, a little dessert wine, chocolate, all that stuff for under €20. So I'm on a strict budget, but I'm doing good. So far, so good. Trying to budget the rest of my semester. That's what I was doing right now when I decided to make this. So pray that I can just, you know, buy the necessities, and hopefully I'll get to see everything I want to see. I'm going to Salzburg and Munich next weekend. Hopefully I can get a bratwurst in Munich. Salzburg is where they film Sound of Music, so that'll be cool. And I will update you after that excursion. But until then, God bless and have a good week.